Defending Super Bowl champion New York Giants didn't get off to the kind of start they wanted to this year. They did lose their opener at home to division rival Dallas. They have another chance, another home game this Sunday, a chance to get back to their winning ways. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers come to town. BETDAQ currently has the Giants installed as a 9-point favorite in this game. Total hasn't yet been released yet. 44 is a total out in Vegas. I do expect it to be somewhere in that neighborhood on BETDAQ. Now, we did mention the Giants got off to a less than perfect start to the season, we'll say. However, Tampa Bay is a perfect 1-0 after picking up a home win against division rival Carolina in Week 1. That had to be a breath of fresh air for Bucs fans. This team was as bad as any in the NFL towards the end of last season. Really looked like they quit on then-coach Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris, of course, no longer the coach. Bucs did bring in Greg Schiano in the offseason, longtime Rutgers coach. Schiano, an old-school, in-your-face, disciplinarian-type guy. As a matter of fact, the two coaches in this game, Tom Coughlin, of course, for the Giants, Greg Schiano for the Bucs, they have a whole lot in common. They run a tight ship. Coughlin's been criticized for that throughout his career. I do think after winning his second Super Bowl with the Giants last year, though, that will quiet those critics a little bit. And Schiano was criticized throughout this offseason for his handling of some of the players. Ran a couple of guys off the team because he didn't like their attitude, including tight end Kellen Winslow, who led the team in receptions last year. But thus far, the results are nothing but good. Beating the Carolina Panthers last week again, like I said, they did that through a game plan that relied more on a sort of traditional run the ball, play defense, don't throw it too much, or have the quarterback manage the game. That wasn't the way that the offense was going under the direction of Raheem Morris. Josh Freeman, Tampa quarterback, was really given a lot of freedom, a lot of latitude to play and throw the ball around. However, last week in that victory against Carolina, Freeman only threw for 136 yards, but rookie running back Doug Martin from Boise State rushed 24 times. It was that defense, that Tampa defense, that most impressed me anyway. Carolina's offense was a top 10 unit last year, an explosive unit. They looked entirely different against Tampa in Week 1. And most people over this last week have been putting the blame on Carolina's offense rather than giving Tampa's defense the credit. You know, you've heard questions about Carolina's game plan. They didn't run the ball that much, even though they're supposed to be a team that features those backs, D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart. Of course, Jonathan Stewart was hurt, did not play in last week's game. So people have criticized Rob Chudzinski, Carolina's offensive coordinator, for his play call in that game. You've not heard people yet praise this Tampa defense, which was no good at all last year and appeared to make a drastic turnaround in one offseason. Now, we'll know a lot more about that after Sunday because the New York Giants offense is a proven commodity. You can say all you want that Carolina might not be proven on offense or Rob Chudzinski may or may not know what he's doing. It seems like that's what a lot of people have been saying, that he just didn't know what he's doing, did not properly attack that Tampa defense. Can't say that about this New York Giants offense. It really carried this team last year all the way to a Super Bowl championship. And even though they only put up 17 points in Week 1 against the Cowboys, I saw some of the same type of things out of that Giant offense in terms of great play out of those wide receivers. Eli Manning really now has become a franchise-type quarterback, one of the 5-6 best quarterbacks in the league. The other thing I saw out of that Giants offense last week that reminded me of last year, but not in a good way, was their lack of a running game. Now, the Giants were outrushed in this past game against the Cowboys, 143-82. We saw that last year out of the New York Giants. They had trouble running the ball, but it just came out of nowhere. Very uncharacteristic for a team that prior to then, throughout the Tom Coughlin era, had been very effective running the ball. So we'll see. We'll see if the Giants will try to establish the run in this game or if they've just sort of gone a different direction now on offense. And we'll see how that Tampa defense holds up against this Giants offense. It is a very, very good unit. It'll tell us a lot about whether the Tampa defense has indeed progressed or if last week maybe it was just an aberration and Carolina maybe did not play as well as they could. Now, when you look at some of the betting patterns in this game, one thing I want to talk about is the under. A lot of trends point towards the under in this game. Again, the total out in Vegas right now is 44. Has not yet been released on BETDAQ. Probably be released within a matter of hours. Worth noting that the under is 7-0 in the last 7 meetings between these two teams. Also, 4-0 in the last 4 New York Giants home games and 7-1 in the last 8 games the Giants have played overall. So the last 8 times the Giants have played, the under is 7-1. Under's 4-0 in the last 4 Giants home games and 7-0 in the last 7 meetings between these two teams. That is a pretty strong trend pointing you in the direction of that under. Also, another thing that might lead you towards that under is the way Tampa played last week. Listen, Tampa was extremely conservative on offense. We mentioned rookie running back Doug Martin getting 24 carries, Josh Freeman only throwing for 136 yards, despite the fact they were playing a Panthers team that was bad in the secondary last year. So if you were drawing up a plan to attack the Panthers in week 1, you would have thought that plan would involve a lot of passing. However, it did not for the Tampa Bay Bucs, which may lead you to believe that they're going to play in sort of the style that the San Francisco 49ers perfected last year, run the ball, play good defense. That lends itself to low-scoring, close-type games. Will this game be close? Not sure. We mentioned the Giants are a 9-point favorite. Really, I don't know which way to lean in this game. I'm going to stay completely away from this game. New York Giants are the better team here. Obviously, you do expect the Giants to win. 9 points a lot, especially since we don't know that much about Tampa yet. Every year in the NFL, we see an example of a team that goes from worst to first, last place in their division, to first place in their division. Will the Tampa Bay Bucs be this year's team? I know it's way early. We're talking about 1 week and a narrow win over the Carolina Panthers, a team that was 6-10 last year. But still, I'm going to wait before giving a team like Tampa 9 points this early in the season. By the same token, I'm not prepared to back the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against what is sure to be a motivated New York Giants team. We'll see if the Giants can even up their record of 500. We'll see if the Bucs can go into New York and pull an upset that will really open the eyes of the football watching world.